Do you want an amazing marriage? Are you ready to take your marriage to the next level? Then stick around for Your Marriage Matters podcast with marriage coach Lynn. Let's put some fun and sizzle into your relationship.
I began my podcast, Your Marriage Matters, with a goal of producing 52 weekly episodes in a year and building an audience of 5,000 listeners or downloads per episode. I attended a conference, a few meetings, and networked with other podcasters in search of how to grow an audience. I didn't find the foolproof technique I was looking for, but gathered a few ideas along the way. I tried various social media techniques, but was unable to grow my audience to what I thought was a reasonable goal. 6 months into podcasting, I discovered that podcasting for me was not easy. I started too prematurely, coming up with the idea in October 2017 and launching a weekly show 4 months later. Although I had fun and enjoyed podcasting, I decided that I didn't like producing and promoting a show. I was spending more time on those activities, leaving little time to focus on booking guests and conducting interviews. 9 years ago, when I hosted a weekly show on Blog Talk Radio, I spent 10 hours a week preparing a 30-minute show that was almost exclusively interviews, which felt natural and came easy to me. I enjoyed it for a year, a potpourri of experts, even a celebrity, until the time became too much an investment. Like 9 years ago, I surpassed my goal of hosting a podcast program for a year. This time around, I consistently released 70 weekly episodes, but fell short of audience growth. The purpose of my podcast was to reach more people than I am able to do individually or in small groups. I learned a lot along the way, but decided to fade from weekly podcasting after 70 episodes. I'm excited to immerse myself in other endeavors at this time. I was in the minority of podcasters. I entered as a hobbyist and didn't treat my podcast as a business. I quickly learned that those who do well with podcasting already have a big audience or following before they launch a podcast. H3H3, Ben Shapiro, Tim Ferriss, Steve Crowder, Joe Rogan, to name a few. They have staffs, marketing expertise, prowess, and large audiences. It's not true that content is king. I've produced and written a lot of content that guarantees a fulfilling marriage, satisfying childbirth experience, and happy life. Captivating personas and a knack for entertainment or interesting presentation of the material is what makes a successful podcast, not necessarily valuable and solid content. Entertainment value, host influence, and charisma are more important than content. Those are not my strong suits. Popularity and trends matter in the podcasting community. What does the public want? I'm not able to provide what people want, and I'm glad I realized that sooner rather than later. It's a sign of success to drop out or pod fade when you've tried your hardest to make a difference, if you no longer enjoy what you're doing, or if your outcome doesn't surpass your effort. I'm glad I stuck with my podcast and followed through on my initial goal. I discovered some interesting statistics, and I'm proud to announce that I was part of the 25% of podcasters who created a program that was consistent and informative. There were over 700,000 podcasts as of May 2019, 2,000 new shows per week. 50% make it past 7 episodes, 75% drop out before 1 year and don't have regular, consistent episodes. Learning new skills is never a failure. I received positive feedback and know that I helped a handful of people in their marriage relationships. Someone said, even if you help one couple prevent divorce, your show made a difference. Others thanked me for various life-changing episodes along the way. Many podcast hosts seem to produce episodes that require little effort or a low investment of time. They are naturally talented. Figuring out the process didn't come easy to me. I put a lot of thought into my shows and created 12 special series. My shows were specific and targeted. I value my listeners' time and provided 15 minutes per week of useful tips and techniques for not only marriage improvement, but marriage transformation. The great thing about podcasting is that you can listen to episodes long after they've been recorded. Here's a list of the 12 series I created for the Your Marriage Matters podcast. The Sound Relationship House, based on the model by Dr. John Gottman. Fathers and large families. Before you get married. How babies impact marriage. The Big Four: forgiveness, friendship, honor, and honesty. Perfect these for a highly satisfying marriage. Emotional fidelity. Creating an emotionally healthy environment in your marriage. Communication series. Techniques for a peaceful marriage. Top 6 marriage books. Catholic resources that inspire lifelong love in marriage. Middle-aged malaise. How to have a happy marriage. Gary Chapman books. Hanging by threads. What to do when your marriage is in crisis. Now that I'm podfading, I'm excited to focus my efforts on writing, mainly on the topics of marriage and childbirth. The beauty of podcasting is that episodes can be released as opportunities and ideas arise. This works well as I transition my time and focus. Until next time, make your marriage great.